Jesus stretches out his arms to give us a new victory. And he no longer just takes us out of physical slavery, he takes us out of sin slavery with his outstretched arm. But he doesn't defeat death by might, he defeats death by using death against itself, and he dies in our place. Several years ago, there was Christoph and Christopher, and they wanted to do this chart that would show you and show us how the Bible cross-references itself so much. And what they have found, at this point, they found 66,779 cross-reference points in the Bible. And they made a chart of it, and each line represents, however long the line is however many times that particular verse is cross-referenced over and over again in the Bible. Jordan Peterson, who is not a Christian, but he is so close to being a Christian, he said, the Bible is the very first hyperlinked text. He said it blows his mind. It's almost miraculous because he says it cross-references itself so many times, because he's seen this chart too, and he said, I can't believe it because the Bible was written over a period of 1,500 years by, 40 to 60 different authors. So how would they know how to communicate to one another, to cross-reference with each other so much? Well, I got to tell you, Jordan, it is miraculous. It was inspired by the Holy Spirit. Of course, God was going to help write in cross-references all throughout those 1,500 years of the text given to us. And this first line of Psalm 98, it says, sing to God a new song because his right hand, his holy right arm has gained victory. Well, that's a cross-reference all the way back to Exodus. The people of Israel moved to Egypt, and there was about 70 of them. Well, while they were there in Egypt, they began to multiply and have children. And they ended up having so many children over many decades that the king of Egypt went to his advisors and he said, there are too many Israelites here. They are beginning to outnumber the Egyptians. And the king said, if we get attacked from somebody around us, the Israelites might turn against us and go with our enemies, and then we'd be in real trouble. They live here right with us. So he said, we're going to make the Israelites slaves in Egypt. And so God heard their cry. He heard their cry for help. So he came to Moses and he says to Moses, I'm going to rescue you from the king of Egypt. I'm going to bring you out from under slavery. I'm going to rescue you and give you freedom. I'm going to give you your own land, the promised land. But here's what God told Moses. In Exodus chapter 3, he says, I know, this is God speaking to Moses, I know that the king of Egypt will not permit you to go except under compulsion. So I will stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with all my miracles, which I shall do in the midst of it, and after that, the king will let you go. So then Moses went before the leaders of Israel and he said, God has appeared to me, and he said he's going to lead us to the promised land. And here's what God told Moses to say in Exodus chapter 6. Say therefore to the sons of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will deliver you from their bondage. I will also redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. Psalm 98, when it goes to call us to worship, and it says sing a new song, well, they're singing this new song. They called it a new song when God did rescue them from the Egyptian king. God stretched out his hand and he caused plagues to come onto Egypt because the king said, I will never let my slaves go. And so plague after plague happened in Egypt until finally they had had enough, and they said to Israel, you have got to get out of here. Your God is going to kill us. On the way out, the king became angry and incensed, and he gathered his army to chase them. And God once again stretched out his arm and he caused the Red Sea to part, and the Israelites marched over on dry land. The Egyptians tried to follow, and God brought the water back on them. They get to the other side and the Israelites sing a new song about God's victory, how his hand did this for them. Psalm 98, it says, sing to the Lord a new song, for he has done wonderful things. His right hand, his holy arm have gained the victory for him. It's reminding us, cross-referencing with the Exodus. And then we have another outstretched arm. It cross-references that we sing a new song about all the way in the New Testament, where Jesus stretches out his arms to give us a new victory. And he no longer just takes us out of physical slavery, he takes us out of sin slavery with his outstretched arm. But he doesn't defeat death by might, he defeats death by using death against itself, and he dies in our place. And that's enough to get us excited. This cross-reference to Exodus, this cross-reference to the New Testament, God's outstretched arm still saves. Joy to the world. The Lord is come. It's not has come, it's not will come. He is here now, interacting with us, offering us salvation today.